And welcome back to the big desk here on Mackinac Island for the Mackinac Policy Conference. I am Zoe Clark. Good to be with you and super glad to have this next group of folks here with us. I have to say that when I read Understanding Gen Z's Political Sway, I was thrilled to see that panel name. Even more excited that I get to talk to the folks that were on the panel, the woman behind putting this panel together, Angelique Power, President and CEO of the Skillman Foundation. Hello.
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for making the time. Esther Guerrero, Congress of Communities. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
To be
and
here.
Jacob Manning, Small Business Association of Michigan. Hello.
Hello.
So I want to read the description of your panel.
Please.
Gen Z adults account for about 1 in 6 Americans eligible to vote, and they are turning up at the polls more than any other youth cohort in history. Esther, why is that?
I think we're a passionate individual group. I think we're a generation that has seen and experienced things from 9/11 in our childhood to the recession to then school shootings, and not only in our high school years, but up to our university years. And we want to see change. We want to be at the forefront of that change, just as we've seen in past generations. We are eager to learn, and we are eager to work together so that we can see the future that we want to see. And
Jacob, how does that resonate with you?
Yeah, it definitely resonates. I think that people in our generation, we have access to information at a level that is completely unprecedented in other generations. And I think that our generation has really jumped into advocacy, is really interested in a lot of different topics and can easily inform themselves, given whatever shows up on their feed in their pocket.
Mm-hmm. Angelique, I'm curious about, for you from the Skillman Foundation, why it was important to hear about Gen Z and to lean into this perspective that sometimes I think gets short shrift or gets a little blown off.
People-powered education is the name of our strategy at Skillman, and really the shorthand of that is that there are people who are most proximate to education issues and to any issues really have to lead policy change. In this moment, if we came to a policy conference and we did not hear from young people, which top the news hour, what is really on their mind and why, I think we do a disservice, and I think we would miss the point. Youth are always at the forefront of social justice changes for the last 50 years. There are 1.8 billion young people on the planet. 4 million turn 18 every year. In Michigan, there are 1.5 million Gen Zers that are registered to vote. They will rock the election this year. And if we aren't engaging, then we're going to be taken by surprise.
It's a powerful note. And yet we know that voters can be apathetic, and any generation, right? So Esther, I'm curious, when you talk to friends, peers, and when we talk specifically about election 2024, and I'm not so much talking about who they're voting for, but is there an urgency this year to turn out, or do you have concerns that folks may feel a little apathetic?
I think what's important here is the issues that are impacting our generation, the things that we are witnessing, which, for example, we're witnessing what's happening in Gaza every single day for the past few months. And that to us is compelling, to see this happening and not seeing the change that we would like, and it coming from our governing body. And along with that, other things like inflation and the economy, just these things that put a lot of pressure on us. And we're more concerned of the outcome of these situations and the policies that are going to be in place. And there will be a push for outcome in the voter in voting this year. Mm-hmm. We saw that happen when there was the uncommitted campaign going around, which was very successful. And so we will see a push. And I think we're waiting to see what Gen Z, what direction they'll take it in.
Jacob, what do you think?
I think that especially now, in the last few years, especially since the pandemic, I think that everybody in the country is having a harder time paying for their groceries, paying for their rent, trying to buy basic necessities. And I think that particularly for Gen Z, who are not yet advanced far enough in their career to be able to make advanced salaries, that these issues hit particularly hard. And so I think that it's not a matter of, apathy. I think that people are going to feel the need to vote because as time goes on, they feel their dollar going less far and less far. I feel like people are going to have to feel like they need to do something.
Jacob, who do you feel like is hearing you and listening to your generation?
Right now, it's kind of hard to say. I think that there's a lot of disillusionment with both sides. I think people aren't necessarily happy with either of the political options. And that's why I think you've seen a lot of Gen Z group together and try and create their own voice.
Esther, one thing I hear when I hear about sort of the urgency that your generation is pushing for is from some other generations going, look, change takes time and you have to be patient. I'm curious, though, when you hear people say that, what does that make you think?
I think we think back to history, and there are things that are repeating themselves. And so we understand that things take time, but we also understand that we learn from history. And when we see things that are continuing to happen and haven't changed since before, then that is frustrating for our generation. So it's nothing new to hear, but I believe that we're still willing to continue and in the fight of just working towards change. I think we are a generation that's willing to come together and take whatever it takes, however long it takes.
History
keep
may
doing
not
it.
repeat, but it certainly can rhyme. Angelique, I love this quote from your website. Beyond dollars, the secret sauce of the Skillman Foundation is to focus on youth power, understanding that young people are the designers of our destiny.
Yes, that's right. I think one of the advantages of being at Skillman right now is that we get to rock with young people. And so we actually have 2 Gen Zers that are on our board. We have a youth council that are the philanthropists. They've given away $250,000 this year alone. They've set the terms, they created the rubric, and we are not watching them to make sure they understand how to do it. We're taking notes. We're saying, how would you change these things? So, young people are not the beneficiaries of our benevolence. I think that when we look at how complicated some of these problems are, even just talking K through 12 education in the state of Michigan, why would we not have those that are most proximate, that live it every day, join it, and who are big thinkers and innovative and creative and entrepreneurs? Why would we not have them at the table working with us towards solutions? I actually don't think we're going to get to solutions without them.
One of the things that is talked a lot about this conference since last year is growing the state's population, right? So getting people to come to the state or trying to get young folks to actually stay. I'd love to hear from the both of you, Esther and Jacob. What are the things when you think about a place that makes you want to live and, continue your life in? What are the things that are really important to you? Esther, I'll start with you.
I'm a proud Southwest Detroiter.
I know.
I love Detroit through and through all of our ups and downs. And something that definitely motivates me to stay is the culture, the resilience. Being a Detroiter is so multifaceted, it's so layered. And I think what I would love to see in our community is more development for the residents, by the residents, for the youth and by the youth. So those are actually things that my organization, Congress of Communities, is working on right now. We're actually raising funds to get a new building. We want to see our community develop, and we want it to be done by us. And so I would love to see more of that.
Jacob, what would you like to see? We've got about a minute left.
Yeah, a couple of things. I think that it's important. It's important that you need to have places where people actually want to spend time, of course. I think that you need to make sure that you're building communities where people want to raise families. I think a big part of that is reinvesting in our state education system. We've seen a lot of, we're not the best performing state in the country. We lag behind in a lot of different important metrics. And so I think that for us to be able to keep people and bring people in, we need to have things that attract them to our state.
Okay, well, Jacob and Esther and Angelique, I so appreciate the time. It's been great having this conversation, and I hope you have a lot of folks at the conference who are listening to all the things that you all have to say.
Thank you for having
Thank you
us.
so
Thank
much.
you,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.